Hello and welcome back to another edition of Austin's American Flyer, where today we're taking a look at a ABA set of Alcos. So before us are a set of diesel engines that were made in 1958, and as such there's a few things that are a little bit interesting about them. The first is they are considered 5-digit engines. So what does that mean? Well, it simply means that the number on the shells are 5 digits versus the 3 that we're used to seeing on earlier diesel engines. Another thing that separates these from some of the earlier variations is it has a 2-step or 2-stage reverse unit. So when we power it up here in just a little bit, you'll hear a click and it'll go a direction, a click and it'll go the other direction. There's not 4 different steps in the cycle. These engines tended to be a little bit less common. They were made later in the Flyer production cycle, and in 1957-58, I'd even say 56 to 58, I've been told is kind of the pinnacle, if you will, of Flyer production. For some reason, the sets from these years seem to be the ones that are a little bit harder to find, harder to get. Just in case you're not familiar with the ABA sets from American Flyer, the lead unit is powered with 2 motors, and each motor powers 4 wheels. And in those power sets, there's 1 traction tire. So it's 8-wheel drive with 2 traction tires. The B unit in this particular set has both a horn, which you can have a horn device that will cause it to squawk, or in this case, it has also a diesel roar. And a diesel roar is something that involves a reed switch and makes a buzzing sound. It's a mechanical attempt to make a diesel engine sound. And then the last unit in this particular case is a non-powered A unit, once again, that just has a light bulb in it. So let's go ahead and power this up and see what we get. As you can hear, it just 1 click and the direction goes. Now, one of the things that's kind of fascinating is with the diesel roar, they soon found out that not everyone was a big fan, and so they started putting in an on-off switch. The on-off switch looks remarkably similar to that you'd find in the tender for a reverse unit, and it's this switch here that's got kind of a little smiley face. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on, and we'll hear the diesel roar. I also went ahead, and I'll show this in the video clips, I outfitted a secondary on-off switch. That secondary on-off switch is specifically for the speaker. Sometimes, depending on which transformer I'm operating an engine with, it'll cause a lot of crackling in the speaker, and I just get tired of it. So by putting this disconnect in, we don't have to worry about that. In fact, I'm going to leave the speaker off completely. We'll still hear the diesel roar without a problem. Each one of the engines has knuckle couplers on both ends, and so you can uncouple those or change the configuration. They don't have to be in this particular arrangement if for some reason you want to do them differently. There's our diesel roar. You hear the click. We're going in reverse. Go ahead and reverse directions here. I think you can see why they decided to put an on-off switch for the diesel roar. It gets to be pretty annoying. Well, I decided to jump off a cliff a little bit with the with the repair of this B unit. It's just been such a rusty mess. that I thought, you know what, I'm gonna toss everything in some industrial cleaner and try to get it all cleaned up, because it was just probably one of the worst I've ever seen. And I don't quite understand if this B unit was part of the set originally or if it came from someplace else, but I don't know. Maybe I'll find more of this rust kind of stuff as I dig into the other two more deeply. But I just threw everything in there, and then I got to clean off the side trucks. Now the paint's been removed, and I've got some paint mats here that's for the silver bullet paint that I did. I'm gonna brush this on these. Now I get to pay the piper and do a little painting here, and so I guess let me share my experience with you, and then you may choose on your repair projects to not go as nuts as I did, and then you won't have to do this kind of repainting. Well, here we are back again. So I've repainted the side frames, and this is a comparison to one that I didn't do anything to. You can see the silver's a little bit different. There seems to be a little bit more brown in the original flyer, but I think it looks okay, and it's certainly not going to be offensive traveling down the rails. I've gone over everything with mineral oil. A guy by the name of Michael, who thank you, Michael, for that tip. He uses mineral oil on a lot of stuff and talks about how it removes rust when he uses it. And since there's just kind of little bits of rust all over the place, I just went over everything with the Q-tip and mineral spirits, and there's still rust, but now it's rust covered in mineral spirits. I've got the diesel roar working. That took a surprising amount of time, and to be honest with you, I'm not really sure why it didn't work and why I finally got it to start working. I kept adjusting these reeds here. I ended up bending everything down just a tiny bit, and that seemed to do it. I don't know. These things are a mystery to me. And then after I did all that, it came with an auto switch, which takes care of the roar, but I wanted to also cut off the speaker, because I don't know why they wired these up that the speaker's never off. I mean, it pops and crackles and carries on. So this on-off switch here, you can hear the speaker humming, and then we'll go ahead and turn the roar on. And there's our idle roar. And once this is then closed in the shell, I think it'll sound just like we have grown to appreciate from Flyer, whether we loathe it or love it. I brought up the question earlier about, did the B unit get made at the same time as the other ones? Did that just because of the difference in rust levels? And as I look in these shells, although the 1A unit's a little hard to see, all of them say January 1958 on them. So I would think that chances are pretty good these were made at the same time, put together at the same time, and stayed together. So interesting how you have that variation in the same engine set.